Now 31 years old, Lebo and Lebogang Munyai finally received their birth certificates. Their father raised them after their mother abandoned them in hospital 2 weeks after they were born. But for 3 decades, he had been tossed around by Home Affairs. They needed him to prove his paternity before he could apply for their birth certificates. After obtaining DNA results from a local GP, Home Affairs still refused to recognize it. She says they told him that as a man he couldn't do birth certificates for them, so he was told to do DNA tests to prove paternity that indeed he didn't steal them. She says he went to the police station and also contacted social workers trying to get them birth certificates, and things were not easy because they were only surviving on the peace jobs he was doing and the SASSA grants. The pair were finally assisted by the Gauteng DA Women's Network. It facilitated their DNA tests done with their surviving paternal aunt. More frustrating is that they could not record their children with Home Affairs because they were required to have IDs. She says she's now only waiting for her smart card ID so that she can go and do birth certificates for her children and also to go and look for a job. The Women's Network says one of the key causes of this intergenerational statelessness is the lack of free DNA testing for indigent South African fathers or relatives.
We reiterate the DA's call for Minister Munyai to ensure the availability of free DNA tests, because the right to an identity is enshrined as a basic human right in our Constitution, which is a basic right for every citizen, not least the most vulnerable in our community. Therefore, we are proud of the role we played in addressing this instance of injustice and helping Lebo and Lebogang be fully recognized as true South Africans.
Lawyers for human rights previously indicated that there were no statistics available on statelessness in South Africa. Nonetheless, there are estimates of the prevalence of stateless persons or persons at risk of statelessness in the country. There are just over 15 million unregistered or undocumented people, including South Africans. 3 million are under the age of 18. But while being unregistered or undocumented is not synonymous with being stateless, being unable to prove nationality due to a lack of documentation can place an individual at an elevated risk of statelessness. The Home Affairs Department couldn't comment on whether indigent families would be afforded free DNA tests or not. Munyai, SABC News, Pretoria.